Good day, everyone. Tim from Timber Visions here. So today I want to talk about a subject that I kind of went through this process a little over a year ago, a year and a half ago, when I decided to purchase this compact tractor. And the main theme is a compact tractor right for you? And I'm going to discuss some of the other types of equipment that I looked into when I made this purchase, and why I pretty much ended up with this tractor. And, this scenario is not going to be the exact same for everyone. Everyone has different circumstances and end results that they are wanting to get to. So this is just some of the information that I got from going through that process, and I'm going to share it with you. The first thing that I want to talk about is, what do you plan to do with your equipment? So, do you plan to do some heavy lifting with the loader? Is that the main use for the equipment that you're going to purchase? Is lifting up heavy stuff? Are you going to be mowing or brush hogging with it? Doing large areas of cutting grass. Maybe even cutting hay or something like that. In that instance, a compact tractor or larger would be a better thing to do. As far as heavy lifting, they can do that to a point, but there are better things suited for that type of work. And I'm going to talk about some of those here. Do you plan on traveling long distances with the equipment, like not trailering it, but driving a ways? Because there are certain pieces of equipment that don't go very fast, and they do other things really well, but they don't travel very fast. So they're not very well suited for that. Where if you get into a larger compact tractor like this almost goes 20 miles an hour. So, I'm not going 30 miles with it, but I can go a few miles with it in a reasonable amount of time. So, I go across town, which is this this town is like 1 mile from one end of town to the other. So I'm well within a mile. But with my subcompact tractor, it didn't travel that fast. So I trailered that over there quite a bit just because of the time saving. It made sense to trailer it, where it just makes more sense to just drive it over there because it goes twice as fast. Are you going to be working in tight spaces? Some of these pieces of equipment that I'm going to be talking about don't get into tight spaces very well. This does okay, but not as good as the subcompact. The subcompact, a 4-foot gate, I could squeeze through there. Some of the other equipment I'm going to talk about can also get through tight spaces. Are you going to be loading this piece of equipment for transport? So some pieces of equipment are better for that than others. And are you going to be using this equipment for snow removal? Some pieces of equipment are better suited for snow removal than others. And they can all do it, but some just do it better. Let's discuss some of the things. And these are general types of pieces of equipment. And I'm going to give prices in here. And I just, searched prices today. And I'm going to stay in the same brand for all of these for the most part. Not all of them, because they don't make certain things. But I'm going to use Kubota as the brand for pricing this out, because we're comparing prices between types of equipment, not brands of equipment. Okay. So, because the second thing you need to consider is budget. So you have compact tractors like this. In this example, I'm going to give you a price for the Grand L series, which is similarly sized to this tractor here behind me. And I did look at a Grand L, and I almost bought it. But because I really like the hydraulics on that Kubota. I'm not gonna lie, I like them better than on the Coyote. But price was a big part of that, but that's not what this is about. So I'm going to use a Grand L, and then I'm going to do a stand-on loader, which Kubota's stand-on loader, the biggest one they got, I think, is the SC 1100. And then I'm going to talk about a skid steer with wheeled skid steer, not a tracked one. And then an R430 loader, which is a smaller wheel loader. They call it like a articulating loader, small articulating loader. Anyway, so the price on the stand-on, and I'll be putting graphics up as I do this so you can see exactly what I saw. The stand-on loader, which, you know, it's got tracks and everything, is $41,000. The Grand L with a cab, because I mean, you can get one with an open station, but you know, we're kind of comparing apples to apples here. But the Grand L with a cab is $62,000. So the wheel loader with a cab, or not the wheel loader, the skid steer with a cab is $53,000. And the larger wheel loader, the R430 loader, is $57,000. And then you can also, another little bit smaller than that, and this is a different brand here, is like an Avant, or small articulating loader, and that used, if I want to use it, you know, has like 50 hours on it, so it didn't get used very long. That was $75,000. So not very cheap, but there's kind of a following for those, because for their size, they pick up a lot of weight, and they are small enough to get into tight spaces. You know, you kind of have to look at your budget there, as far as bang for your buck. You know, if you're price wise, I think the compact tractors are the best all around, because they can do so many things. You can put things on the back, and you can put things on the front of a skid steer also, right? But those particular attachments are like double of one that goes on the 3-point. So, you know, that adds even more cost, right? So, but a skid loader can fit in a tighter spot than a larger compact tractor, like this or the Grand L. They're much shorter and they're not as tall. So, you know, you can put a compact, you can't put a compact tractor in a standard garage door. The height is 7 foot, and these are, you need at least 8 foot to get something like this into a garage door, where like the SSV 65, I think, is less than 7 foot tall. So you could drive that into a 7 foot high doorway in a garage. And it's not super long like this. It's fairly long. So, you know, you got to kind of think about where you're going to put it, where you're going to store it at. You know, you can, of course, you can always leave it out in the elements, but, you know, paint fades, hoses start getting checked. It's best to keep them stored away somewhere. Yeah. And then, of course, the stand-on can fit in the garage quite easily, and they can lift quite a bit of weight for their size, right? But you are out in the elements. So if you had that as an extra piece of equipment, I could totally see that. You know, loading it onto a trailer would be really easy. They're quite small. They don't weigh a huge amount. I think they'd be really handy as a second piece of equipment. But if you're just buying one piece of equipment to do everything, I don't think a stand-on is the way to go, especially like snow removal and things like that. It's like you're literally standing out in the elements while you're pushing snow or blowing snow. That sounds terrible. Maybe I'm a little spoiled because it's a cab tractor. But yeah, all those things are things to consider, and things that I considered when I was going down this road. You know, I almost bought a Kubota skid loader. It was really close. I used one, but they tear up the ground so terribly bad. That's the thing that I was concerned about, because there are a lot of times that I am driving on my lawn or somebody else's lawn, and those skid loaders, they turn by skidding, right? They skid the wheels, and that will just tear things up. And I'm not saying that this compact tractor does not tear up ground, because if you spend a lot of time in the same area, it's going to tear it up. It's a big, heavy, you know, it's like 4,000 or 5,000 pound piece of equipment, you know, and you're turning and things. It does tear things up after a while. But I drive between my neighbor's house and our fence back here to park this every time I park it, and I take this thing out a lot. And I just drive straight through, and the ground is not tore up. It is compacted, but it's not tore up. So, I mean, and that would be the same if you drove straight through with a skid loader too. But I've just come to expect that anywhere I'm going to use this tractor a lot, like over at the wood lot, I just put gravel down, because it's just, it'll be better in the spring and everything like that. So you just kind of have to change things to fit your equipment in some situations. But yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I don't know if this will help anybody out or not, but you know, ultimately I went with this because of price and lift capacity. And you know, it's just, I have the stump grinder that I already had for a 3-point, and you can get adapters and put those on the front of a skid loader. I didn't want to buy another stump grinder when I already had one. And any hydraulically driven stump grinder that you put on the front of a skid steer is considerably more expensive than this stump grinder I have for the back of this tractor. And I use it on my subcompact also. Very versatile that way. And you know, you can get snow blowers to put on the back of tractors. You can get snow blowers to put on the front of tractors if they have a mid-mount PTO. Like the Kubota Grandel, you can put a mid-mount PTO on that and put a snow blower on the front of your tractor. And that's handier than on the back, in my opinion. Now they have inverted snow blowers, so you drive forward. Well, how deep is the snow? Can the tractor get through it then? You know, I mean, if you get huge drifts, you're not gonna be able to drive through that snow to blow from behind going forward. You know what I'm saying? I think they're really good for snow removal businesses that do a lot of residential driveways. I think those inverted are great for that, because the snow isn't super deep, and they can get out there and just back up to the garage and drive forward and blow it out into the yard. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely an investment. They're more expensive than just a regular rear-facing snow blower. But yeah, you can get those snow blowers for skid loaders, and get them for the mini articulating loaders like the Avant. If you don't have snow where you live, that's really not an issue. So, you know, lift capacity is huge. You know, how fast you can move from one place to the other is huge. That is where the stand-on little skid steer is the worst, right? They move really slow. You're not going to go really fast with that stand-on. You know, most of your skid steers, they have a low and a high. So you put it in high, you can go pretty fast. You know, like maybe 15 mile an hour. Well, this thing I can do about 20 mile an hour. I know some of those mini articulating, they can go 20, 25. So, I mean, they can move pretty fast. But yeah, if that's what you're doing, going from place to place with that piece of equipment, you'll have to take all of that into account. Or you trailer it, spend the time strapping it down, unstrapping it, and unloading, loading and unloading, all of that. It's all time, right? And yeah, it can all be figured in But you know, time is money. Everyone knows that, especially if you got lots of things you need to do in the day and you're running here and there and everywhere. You know, time is money. So loading and unloading time, it takes a while, you know. It takes some time, especially strapping and unstrapping. So yeah, just to, you know, I don't know if this video has been helpful at all, but if you have been in the same boat that I was, you know, a year and a half ago, maybe some of these things are things that you hadn't thought of. Maybe they are things that you have thought of, but um, I know it's not an easy choice, and it does take a lot of time to think about, and sometimes we rush and make a choice and didn't consider things. So maybe this video will help you out with that, as far as just little things that you didn't consider. But I do want to thank you for stopping in and watching this video. Hopefully it was useful. If it was, you know, consider putting a like down there. You know, it really helps the channel out. And if this type of stuff is stuff that are things that you're interested in, you know, equipment, trailering, you know, sawmill, outdoor, you know, work type stuff, consider subscribing, because that's basically what I do here. You can click down there on the Timber Visions icon and, you know, go to my channel page and you can see all the different types of stuff I do videos on. And I'm not an expert on anything, but I do share what I have learned with you guys, you know, and hopefully helping you out. So thanks again for stopping in and watching this video. Until next time, be safe, brothers and sisters.